G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here. Making a movie for Cathy Preston, aka Lorelei, in Cornwall in England, who posted this to me on the 17th of July, and it actually got here 2 days ago, Cathy, but I was pretty busy on Monday. I had to go to town, one of my kids was sick, I had to be daddy nurse for the morning, and then as you've seen on the 3 videos I posted of it, there was burn number 22. Yeah, burn 22. I know you've seen it because you left a comment on the video Xantheria Candles. Yeah, it's a big program. I had a suspicion that you thought it was more or less over after the first couple of burns. I've done 23 now in say 7 weeks. I probably should have started 4 or 5 weeks earlier, but I hadn't thought it through. I was getting used to the idea that I just have to grit my teeth and do all that work. Nobody's going to do it for me. It has to be done. If I don't conduct controlled hazard reduction burns when it is safe, I'm just going to have a complete nightmare if I get a fire on a breakout catastrophic weather day, and we're probably going to have quite a few catastrophic weather days in the coming spring and summer and autumn, so therefore I bit the bullet and decided I had to do it. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get some bigger burns maybe next year. Probably won't get too many big ones this year because the end of the notification season and the start of the permit season is appearing. And as I said, maybe I'll get a few permits issued because I've got a good track record of knowing what I'm doing, sort of thing. Let's face it, I've done 23 burns in a fire trap and I haven't lost any of them, so I must be getting something right. But if I'm going to start as early as I can next year, I might get 10 acres done per year at this rate. So I've kind of got a magnum opus project. You know, I would like to have safely burnt all of the land that I'm responsible for before I get a job pushing up daisies. And that green line around there, that's the boundary of what I pay rates on. The bit that I've actually burnt is all the stuff that's in red. So from there around to there and up, essentially the hut has got 180 degrees arc of, in a hazard reduced, not quite totally blacked out area between where I am and where the rest of the forest is, and all that country out there up to the creek line, that got burnt in 1998, but all of that country out over there, it's sort of totally wild, overgrown fire trap. Hasn't been burnt since 1958. So I'm going to have to develop techniques of carrying and pre-positioning water to get there, and it's going to take a while. However, back to the topic at hand, Potery has arrived. I really like the front cover, Cathy. I'm assuming that's either pre-sunrise or post-sunset with a telephoto lens shooting across a valley. Continuing over onto the rear cover. And the silhouette horizon effect greatly reminds me of one of my favourite photos, which I keep on the wall above my bed because, as I like to jokingly claim, it's a telephoto shot of a koala. And you can't see the koala, but you can see the branch that he's sitting on. And the reason I like it is because the branch is on the far horizon backlit by the sun going down, and the tree's 130 miles away from where I had the camera, about 5,000 feet above sea level up on top of Ben Lomond looking west. Bosch & Lomb Discoverer 1000 to 4000mm variable telephoto, 15 to 60 power. It's good for moonshots too. But again, back to the subject at hand, I get an inscribed copy of Potery, which had an envelope inside containing a delightful, if, as you say, Cathy, rather ridiculous postcard from Spain. So I feel highly honoured. I actually got a postcard from Spain, a souvenir memento of your recent holiday, sitting under a sombrero, getting a suntan. So what can I say? I'm tickled pink, Cathy. Thank you very much. And I see you have included photographs illustrating the poetry. Good idea. Ooh, that looks like a drawing as well. You got a moonshot in here. I promise I had not opened the book. I didn't know that. Hadn't realised that, therefore, in this movie, we've actually compared moonshots. Okay, yes, I see. Condensation trails dispersed by wind in the sky over the top of a headland landscape feature, and the sky viewed through a rock chimney. Ooh. You're good at this backlit black and white stuff, aren't you, Cathy? Sand on a beach? I guess. Not many people can do both black and white and colour photography. You are very, very talented, Cathy. A friend of mine was an accomplished black and white photographer. He bought himself a new camera and a dozen rolls of film and went on a month's holiday. He didn't develop anything till he came back. And black and white photographers shoot for light-dark contrast, whereas colour photographers shoot for evenly balanced lighting and allow the colours to establish the contrast. And he wound up with 12 rolls of 24 exposures of light-struck, overexposed snapshots, I guess you could call them. They weren't photographs. You can do photographs, proper artistic photographs, in both black and white and colour. It's quite an accomplishment. I am impressed, Cathy, I am impressed. Thank you very much. And I really like the 3D card. I haven't got anything 3D, but as it happens, Cathy, I have a bit of a selection of aeroplane postcards, and seeing as you do seem to be one of the jet set, I might just respond to this. Gloucester Gauntlet, probably not appropriate. English Electric Lightning, don't think that's your style. A brace of mosquitoes, don't think that's Cathy. A tiger moth, yes, Cathy, I can imagine you in a tiger moth. But on the other hand, you do live in Cornwall, and Cornwall is by the sea. But on balance, most of the time you go flying, it's in an airliner. Yes, and I actually have in my hot little hand a postcard, an actual postcard of an airliner. So that should be fair swapsy. So, Warbles on a lot to YouTube, and Lorelei, Cathy Preston. I think that's probably movie's end. And I guess it'll be funny if the first dispatch of Potery eventually shows up. But it seems at the moment that in a situation where two people on opposite sides of the planet have both dispatched airmail packages, both discarded the receipt, we've come to opposite yet strangely correct conclusions, where you've decided that the first dispatch of Potery has gone irrevocably, irretrievably awry, which may mean that it was in a grey canvas bag on a baggage cart being shifted from one aeroplane to another at Karaki Airport when the rebels attacked. So therefore you've sent a second dispatch, and the second dispatch has arrived and the first one is nobody knows where. And I came to the opposite conclusion, that the thumbnuts will get through. So I sat on my hands and waited and waited and waited, and what was it, 8-10 weeks after I sent them, they showed up. So, serendipity, synchronicity, coincidence, but both of us came to correct conclusions even though they were opposite conclusions. Fairly impressive, I reckon. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Thank you again, Cathy. Ciao.